Nice.
All right, you don't need me for anything, do you, David?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good.
If you need me, I'll come back on, but I'll be on the live.
All right, perfect.
All right.
Tell me when we're ready.
I think we're there.
Think we're there. All right, solid. Yeah, we're live. All right, cool. Awesome, guys. We're about 7 minutes late getting started here. Sorry about the delay, but that's technology, right? So what I wanted to do this evening is go through, or at least get you. No, hold on, just a second. About 7 minutes hang on.
That's that delay we're talking about.
Okay, I think we're good. I'm getting feedback because I had it going live. All right, so yeah, what I want to do, and you guys can't see me because my camera's not working, so sorry to disappoint. Lucky you. What I wanted to do was go ahead and run through our system and do some specific training, because here's what happens when you get started with this idea is you're kind of like a deer in the headlights. And I want you guys to take some notes. I'm not going to be able to bring up my PowerPoint for you to see. So I want you to take some notes while we're doing this. And I want you to just think about the first time that you ever tried doing something new. If we have anyone who's watching who maybe is, I don't know, a musician, maybe you play a guitar or a violin or the drums. And I want you to just think back to the first time you ever picked up a guitar. And I want you to think about how weird it felt. And I want you to think how bad it sounded and how terrible you were. But see, you had seen other people play the guitar before. You had heard very beautiful music. You had heard, Eddie Van Halen play the Eruption solo. So you knew that it's possible to make this thing hum like a bird. I just haven't figured it out yet. And the reason you had that belief is because you'd witnessed someone else who had done it. So you didn't just throw the guitar down and say, this thing sucks, it doesn't work, guitars are a scam. That's not what happened. What you did was you started getting after it, and you started learning, and you started learning, and you learned, and you learned, and you learned. So the same thing happens here. You join World Ventures, you come to a meeting, or maybe you tune in on a webinar and you hear these stories of people and you're going, wow, this looks so awesome. And you become a rep, and then you go try to invite your first person and it goes, and you just completely flop on your face and it goes horribly. And you start going, well, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe this isn't right for me. And here's the thing. You simply haven't seen someone who's done it yet. You haven't been to one of our big events yet. Some of the people who are watching this, you've been to the big events. You've seen people who are winning at a very high level. So the belief is already there in your head. And now you're thinking, well, I just clearly haven't figured it out yet. Obviously it works. I just have to put in the time and the repetition and sound really bad on the guitar for a while before I can get good at it. So let me just kind of transition into our system here. Let me bring up my notes so that we can kick this thing off. And all right. So again, we have a system. And a system, if you're taking notes, SYSTEM stands for save yourself some time, energy, and money. Because we can try to figure this out on our own. And I mean, how good would it be whenever you pick up that guitar for the first time, instead of trying to figure it out on your own, what if you had Eddie Van Halen or Carlos Santana sitting right there next to you and they could coach you through it? Would you still make mistakes? Of course you would make mistakes, but you would have someone right there by your side to say, okay, you see what you did here? You need to change and do this. Try it again. And it might sound a little better. And they would say, well, you still got this part. You're doing this right, but now we need to change this little thing. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. And eventually it would take some time. So it's no different here. When you hear about someone like an Eric Grzybowski, who's making $1 million a year, or a Sachin Govender, who's hit our highest pay rank 4 times at 24 years old, and you go, oh my gosh, these people are just magic at this. The only difference between them and you, if they started off, they were just as terrible as anybody in the beginning, but they simply made a decision that I'm just going to take time to get good at this. And it's going to be weird. It's going to be uncomfortable. But that brings us to our number one rule in this business. The number one rule, if you're taking notes, is have fun. You see, this isn't another job. Everybody already has a job. Most people don't enjoy their job. I heard a statistic recently, over 70% of people don't like what they do for a living. If they stopped getting paid, they would stop doing it in a heartbeat. It's just there to pay the bills. So we don't want to have another job. We want this to be fun. I mean, if you look at our mission statement, it's fun, freedom, and fulfillment. That's what we're all about, is helping people to do that. So if you find yourself where this is a grind and it's a rub and it sucks, it just means you're probably not doing it right. Remember, if you get really good at a bad golf swing, you're still really bad at golf. So we got to teach you how to swing the club the right way. Number one is have fun. And if you were on that presentation that Ryan just did, oh my gosh, man, this dude is like a ball of fun. And you can just, it seeps out of his pores that he's having fun doing this. So guess what's going to happen when he's showing people? They're going to pick up that energy. So this should be a fun process. Rule number 2, be coachable. Okay, be coachable. If you picked up that guitar and it sounded terrible, and then, Carlos Santana said, well, you need to try this and move your finger this way, and you said, come on, dude, I know what I'm doing. Leave me alone. I'm going to figure this out on my own. Would that be smart? Of course, it would not be smart. So here's the thing. The leaders, the people who are teaching you, they're teaching you a very specific way of doing things because that's what works. So again, if you're writing things down, if we tell you to do it, do it. If we tell you not to do it, don't do it. It's a very simple rule. And it'd be kind of like if you opened up your own Starbucks. Now, do you think Starbucks knows how to sell coffee? You think they know how to brew coffee? Yeah, they're worth like $10 billion, okay? They're the biggest coffee game in the world. Now, how crazy would it be if you opened up your own Starbucks and on day one, you just threw the owner's manual in the trash and said, I'm going to make my own coffee. I'm making my own vanilla lattes and my own pumpkin spice, this, that, and the other. I don't need all these recipes. I don't need all these policies and procedures. I'm going to figure it out on my own. You would fail miserably. You wouldn't sell a cup of coffee. So again, be coachable and just get used to learning some new things, because just like playing a guitar or riding a bicycle or learning how to eat with a fork, this is going to feel weird in the beginning. I've got a 1-year-old right now. I can tell you that for sure. So average people, they do not force themselves to get uncomfortable. That's why they stay average. That's exactly why they never, that's like the definition of average, is it's the best of pathetic. I mean, it's kind of a funny description, but they just don't force themselves to get out of their comfort zone, which is why they stay exactly where they are year after year after year after year, and they never seem to be really moving anywhere in their life. So let me give you kind of a little game plan here that you want to do in your first 24 hours. Now, if you've already been in for more than 24 hours, that's cool. Let's make this your next 24 hours, okay? The first thing you want to do, there's a couple of apps that I want you to download. And again, just write this stuff down right now. The first one is called Dream Trips, okay? That's going to be your product. That's going to be your product app. That's where you're going to see all the dream trips and the anytime escapes and your booking engine. And there's just tons and tons and tons of stuff in there. There's also some rep training, but don't worry about the rep training in the Dream Trips app. That's the first app. The second app that I want you to download is called Chillin Worldwide. Chillin, Chillin, no G, Chillin Worldwide, or Chillin WW if you're on a Droid in the Google Play Store. And what you're going to want to do when you download that app, the very first button, it says Start Here. And what you're going to do is you're going to click that button, and it's going to cover exactly what I'm teaching you right now, almost word for word. It's going to teach you this exact system. It's about a 23-minute video. I want you to listen to that video, and I want you to listen to it a few times, because repetition is the mother of skill. Don't think that you're going to watch the video once and all of a sudden have it mastered, just like you had to pick up the guitar many, 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 many times in order to get good at it. So download those two apps, the Dream Trips app, the Chillin Worldwide app. And when you start looking through the Chillin Worldwide app, there is so much content on there. It's kind of like being fed with a fire hose. Don't think that you have to digest it all at once. But here's the thing that we know. Some people who join us as reps are going to want to walk. Others are going to want to jog. Others are going to want to run. Others are going to want to sprint like a madman or a madwoman. We've got some of those on the line right now. So we want to give people the resources. So the ones that want to walk, let's let them walk. the ones who want to jog or run, they can digest it as quickly as they possibly can. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to write a names list. And I'm going to go through some specifics on this in a few minutes. So we're going to come back to this part, but you're going to write a list of names of people that we're going to show this to quickly, okay? And of course, our goal in your first 24 hours, it's called Score in 24. We want to help you at least show 1 or 2 people in your first 24 hours, if not more than that, because here's what we know. An object in motion stays in motion, and an object at rest stays at rest. Now, again, if you've been in for a week or a month or a year and you still haven't shown anybody, it's cool. This is going to be your next 24 hours. So we're going to get back to showing your list in a few minutes, okay? So I'm going to run through a couple different things here. The next thing that you want to do is you want to book your first training event. And why do we want you to book a training event? Well, because you don't have a clue what you're doing yet. I mean, think about this. If you bought a new gun, would it be wise to maybe take some courses on how to use that gun before you go out and accidentally hurt somebody, right? Same thing here. You didn't buy a gun, but if you do this wrong, you can goof it up, and we don't want you to do that. So book a training event. That's going to do several things for you. It's going to give you some confidence. You're going to come to that event and you're going to see other people winning. You're going to hear stories and you're going to be going, wow, that gal up on stage, she looks a lot like me. She sounds a lot like me. She seems a lot like me. She's making $20,000 a month doing this. Hot dog, maybe I got a shot here. And see, if you don't go to that event, then that never happens for you. So your belief level never develops and you never win. And again, we want you to win. We wouldn't have signed you up as a rep if we wanted you to lose. We're simply giving you the system. Now, here's the cool thing. Over on the East Coast in Atlanta this Sunday, you've got a half-a-day training with IMD Keith Willis. He just he's one of the newest international marketing directors in the company, the highest rank of the pay plan. And is that a guy that you want to be listening to? Absolutely it is. I mean, he's an Eddie Van Halen of the World Ventures side. I don't know if he can play guitar or not, but that's not what he's trying to teach you. And by the way, it's like 10 or 20 bucks to go to this event. Are you kidding me? I mean, where else can you go pay 10 or $20 to have a person who's making $500,000 a year residual income pull you aside and just sit there and teach you for half a day exactly how they did it? It's never going to happen anywhere else in life, but that's what we have here. So make sure that you book the next training event. And I can't stress this enough, that if you don't attend the trainings, you really don't have a shot here. It's just not possible. It would be like enrolling in medical school and then never showing up to class. Are you going to become a doctor? Of course you're not. You don't have a chance. You got to show up and you got to put in the repetitions. So we've got lots of different events. We've got that event that's coming up in Sunday in Atlanta. There's other events around the country. Coming up on March 2nd, we do another series of events that are going to be kind of similar to that, but at a higher level. We got 26 or 27 cities where we're doing those. And I think it's $40 or something like that to come to those events. So again, very, very affordable. And then if you want to get crazy with this, I'm just kind of future pacing. We still got a couple months out. We've got the biggest event of the year. It's called our International United Convention, where we will have people from all 40 countries that we're doing business who will be showing up to this event. It'll be over 10,000 people, 15,000 people, maybe more, from all over the globe. And if you want to talk about a belief builder, absolutely get to that event. So we can get you squared away there as well. So we'll just talk about the success path really quick. We talked about Score in 24. That's the first thing we want to do, is to help you get your first enrollment quickly as we possibly can right out of the gate, so that you feel some success and you get a check direct deposited in your bank account the following Friday, so that you have this belief that, okay, this thing actually works. I got paid 20 bucks. It's not a huge amount of money, but at least it works, right? So your belief level starts to go up. The next thing we want to do is help you to get your fees waived. And to do that, you enroll for customers. We talk about getting your fees waived. We're waiving your membership dues. Now, your rep dues don't go away. That's $25. But again, $25 it might as well be zero. I mean, it's as close to zero as you're going to get to run a business. So that's your next step, is becoming a qualified rep. Then from there, we want to accelerate it. We want to get to what's called 2-star rep, which is where you make an extra $200. So you've made all of your money back. That's with 6 enrollments. You've made all your money back. You're profitable. And again, all you're left with is $25 a month. And then we go up from there. So we have a system. And again, I keep using that word because that's simply what it is. And if you're writing things down, our system is called ICEE. ISEE. Just write that down. ISEE. I stands for invite. And I'm going to go into detail in a few minutes on exactly how you invite, what you say, what you don't say. That's the first step, inviting. The second step is share. We got to figure out, what do you say before you hit play on the video? Or if you're bringing someone to a live travel party, what do you say to them as you're walking in with them? What are some of the specific things that you do? And we're not going to have a lot of time to get into that tonight, but again, we want to at least get you started on the right path. The first E stands for enroll, which, there's some closing skills that we're going to teach you as time goes on. And then the last E is educate. And I've already touched on that with our training system. So let me get through a couple different slides here that I'm working on, and then we're going to go through the specifics. Okay, let's see here. Let me see. Good. All right, perfect. All right, let me close this one out, and I'm going to bring up the next one. And again, you guys can't see this, but what I would love to do, which I don't think we're going to get to the way that we're running this tonight because no one else is logged in on Zoom. I would love to be able to do some role play here. If anybody, let's see, Ryan, you are still on the Zoom, right? Okay.
Absolutely.
In a minute is you and I will do a little bit of role play on inviting so that the people who are playing along at home, they can hear exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Okay.
All right.
Hang on just a second. Let me just close this out. I'm just going to close that all together. And all right, perfect. Okay, so inviting is the key skill set that you need to focus on in the beginning. You can be absolutely horrific at everything else, but if you can get good at inviting, you can win here. You can be terrible at showing the deal. You can be terrible at all the other skills. But if you can invite 1,000 people to see this, just by default, you're going to have some people who join accidentally. All right. So I want you to just think about, before you ever heard about World Ventures, you were a pretty good inviter. And think about this. It used to be where if there was a new movie that came out, the Avengers or whatever, and you were super fired up, you could call up one of your friends and be like, dude, there's this amazing Avengers movie coming out. What are you doing? Let's go check out this movie. And you were fired up, and guess what they would do? They would show up and they would watch the movie with you. You used to be a great inviter. If you used to want to grab lunch with a friend, you'd call them up and be like, hey, what are you doing for lunch today? Nothing. Cool, man. Let's grab lunch. And guess what they would do? They would show up and have lunch with you. But it's like, as soon as we join World Ventures, we start getting all weird, and we think that we have to explain this to people, and then you sound like this weird salesperson because you don't really know what you're talking about yet, and you haven't really had any results yet. You haven't made any money. You haven't been on a trip yet, and it just becomes this weird thing. So here's what I want you to just, first of all, take a deep breath and just relax. Okay, you don't have to be this dynamic person to do. You don't have to be a Ryan with this massive energy. What you need to do is you need to take whatever your energy level is at normally, and you need to bump it up by 10%. Just bump it up by 10%, because then your friends are going to be going, man, you got a little extra pep in your step. Like something's going on. Like it makes them curious, right? So what you want to do in the beginning is you just want to stay in stealth mode. If you play cards, if you play poker, do you show your cards in the beginning or do you show your cards in the end? You show your cards in the end. Is that because you're trying to deceive other people? No, it's because you've got an advantage if you don't show your cards in the beginning. So I want you to just, don't go out there on social media and say, hey, friends and family, I've got this awesome new travel deal, and go check out my website, check out this online video and watch it, and then call me back. Because here's what you just did. You just became a salesperson. And do you like being sold? No, I don't like being sold, but do you love to buy? Of course you love to buy. Everyone loves to buy, but only if it's presented in the right way. So you don't want to become this salesperson that everybody, dreads coming around because they feel like they're going to try, you're going to try to steal their wallet from them. So just stay in stealth mode right now. On social media, just be cool. I want you to think about, World Ventures is kind of like a backyard barbecue. People are showing up, they're hanging out, they're having a good time. And then there's a right time to invite people to see the information. Also, write this down. The less you say, the more you make. Let me give you an example, okay? We've all seen movie trailers, right? So you go see a movie. Before the movie, they play movie trailers for upcoming movies. Now, how long is a movie trailer typically? 60 seconds, right? Now, what do they show you in a movie trailer? Do they show you the whole plot? Do they introduce all the characters? Do they go through the conflict and the climax and the resolution? And do they tell you that everyone dies at the end if it's the Avengers movie? No. Why don't they do that in the 60-second trailer? Because you wouldn't come see the movie, right? The purpose of a movie trailer is to pique your curiosity, to get you to come back and put your butt in the seat a second time. Does that make sense? So your invite is the exact same thing. The mentality behind your invite is not to explain World Ventures and Dream Trips to them. An invitation is not a presentation. They're two separate things. So let me go through some specifics on how this works. And this is where you want to start taking some notes, okay, if you're not already. We're going to go through something called a 5-step invite. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you kind of the basic structure of how this should work. And then I'm going to break it down and give you some very specific examples. And then we'll do a little bit of role play with Ryan and I so you guys can see how this works. Okay, so the 5-step invite, step 1 is be in a hurry. Now, I already said, you should up your tempo by 10%, right? You ever notice that, how successful people usually walk fast? You notice how successful people usually talk a little faster than unsuccessful people? I'm not saying that's like that 100% of the time, but successful people are usually on the move. They're usually doing stuff. They're go-getters. They're the ones who are making things happen. So whenever you call somebody, you want to preface the conversation by letting them know you're in a hurry, because this is going to be a 30-second conversation. This is not going to be a 5-minute getting caught up and how are the kids doing and what did I miss at church this week, all that if you didn't go, and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a very quick invitation. It's not going to be a presentation. So that's step 1, is be in a hurry. So if I was calling up Ryan, I'd be like, hey, Ryan, real quick, it's David. Now, what did I just say? I just told him I don't have a whole lot of time to talk to you right now because real quick, it's David. Okay. Now, if you're not in a hurry, or if you feel like you're being dishonest, I'm really not in a hurry, wait till you're in a hurry. Like, wait till you've got a whole laundry list of stuff and the baby's got a dirty diaper and the dog's scratching to get out, and wait till you've got all this chaos going on and then do your invites so that you are in a hurry. You don't have time to talk. Wait till you're walking into the grocery store. Hey, Ryan, real quick, I'm about to run to the grocery store. Boom. Got it? So step 2 is clear the date. Hey, Ryan, real quick, it's David. Look, man, you going to be around later today? And here's what I want to do. I want to look for an opening that he's going to have time to either sit down with me or sit down in front of a computer and watch the video. I want to clear a specific time. So I'll say, hey, man, you going to be around this evening? Or, hey, you're going to be free at lunch today? Or, hey, are you going to be around sometime later this week? I just want to find a time when he's going to be free. Now, if he says anything other than yes, I'm up tonight, man, I got a hot date. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, remember I said I was in a hurry? I'm going to say, cool, man, I got to run. I'll catch you later. Click. I'll say that again. Cool, man, I got to run. I'll catch you later. Click. Because I already told him I'm in a hurry, right? I want to follow through on that promise. And if he doesn't have time for me, I'm not going to move to the next step. I'm not moving to step 3 because we play to win. And if we don't get a chance to win, then guess what? We're not going to play, right? We're going to take our ball and go home. We're going to check with him some other time. So, hey, Ryan, real quick, it's David. Look, man, you going to be around later tonight? And if he says, well, yeah, man, I get off work at 6. What's going on? Then and only then do I move to step 3. Step 3 sounds like this. Dude, I'm working on something huge. Then I move right into step 4, which is I'm coming over. Because if I know Ryan pretty well, we've been working together for, 5 years or whatever. We've known each other from high school, or, we go to the same church, or our kids play soccer together. Now he's going to be going, wow, I wonder what's going on right now. This is kind of crazy. And usually he's going to interject some kind of question. What's going on? Or, man, what's happening? Yeah, come on over. What's the deal? Then you're going to go back to step one. Man, I wish I had time. I'm in a rush right now. It's big. I'll see you at 7. Okay, I'll swing by. So let's run back through that. Steps 1 through 5. Hey, Ryan, real quick, it's David. I'm in a hurry right now. Hey, look, man, are you going to be around later this evening? You free? He's like, yeah, I get off work at 6. Cool, man. I'm working on something huge. I'm going to swing by about 7 o'clock. Is that cool? And he's like, well, what's going on? Man, I wish I had time to explain right now. I'll be there at 7, okay? That was step 5, was confirm. So you got be in a hurry, step 1. Clear the date, step 2. Get excited, step 3. I'm coming over, step 4. Confirm, step 5. Now, before Ryan and I do a little role play here, I want to tell you where most people screw up. Most people get steps 2 and step 3 mixed up. Let me show you how that sounds. Hey, Ryan, real quick, man, it's David. Dude,
Hey.
I've got something huge that I'm working on. Are you
Yeah.
free tonight?
Um,
You see what I just did there? I interchanged step 2 and 3, and I told him before I cleared the date, I told him I'm working on something huge. Now I just gave him the green light to drill me with every single question under the sun. Well, what is it? What are you working on? What's going on? And then you start tap dancing, right? You start, it's this travel deal, and I'm not supposed to tell you what it is, and you start looking foolish. And then, of course, your friend, what do they say? Oh, come on, I'm not interested. Or, I don't have time. Turns out I got to paint my toenails or whatever. We know Ryan likes to paint his toenails. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to go ahead and unmute Ryan. And Ryan and I, we're going to do a little role play on the 5-step invite. So you guys playing along at home can hear how this goes, okay? So
Right.
Ryan, are you there?
Absolutely.
Ryan may not even know that he's supposed to be doing this. I totally
Yes.
just
Can
sprung
you
this on
hear
him.
me, David?
There he is.
Ha.
All right, cool. You're unmuted.
Yes.
All right. So let's do this. I'm going to invite you.
Okay.
Actually, you invite me. I'm gonna be easy. Okay, I'm not gonna give you any objections. You invite me using the 5-step invite.
All right. David, real quick, what you doing tonight?
Nothing, dude. I think I'm around. I think I should get done and work about 5, and I'm just heading back to the house. What's up?
All right, but I'm coming over. I got something really cool I want you to see.
Okay. All right. Sure. Yeah. Anytime after 5.
All right, fantastic, my man. I'll see you soon.
Okay. All right. So let's do a little critiquing here.
Yeah.
First of all, it's not as easy as it seems. It's like whenever they hand you the guitar and you just watch them play the guitar and you're going, oh, how hard can this be? And then you put your hands on the frets and you're like, holy crap, I have no idea what I'm doing. So what did Ryan do correctly? First, he was in a hurry. He said real quick, he cleared the date. He kind of jumped straight into I'm coming over. He kind of skipped the get excited. So you want to make sure that you hit all the bases, right? If you skip a base and you get all the way to home plate, they don't give you the run.
Yeah.
So let's do that again. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to ask you, what is it? Okay. So
All right.
I'm telling you what my hitch in the giddy up is going to be. All right. So
All right.
ring, ring, ring. You're inviting
Hello?
me. Hello?
Hey, David, real quick, what you doing tonight?
Not much, man. I get off work around 5. What's happening?
All right, well, at 5 o'clock, can I come over?
Sure. Yeah. What's up?
Well, I've got this really cool idea. I'm really excited to show you.
Cool, man. Can you give me a hint? I mean, what is it?
Oh, man, it's me, man. Come on. I'll see you at 5.
Okay. All right. I'll see you then. That was perfect. That was beautiful. See, because now I'm scratching my head. I'm like, what the heck is Ryan doing, man? I haven't received a phone call like that ever before. And now I'm looking forward to him coming over because I got to figure out what the heck this guy is up to. I'm definitely. Does that make sense? Okay. So I want you to, I'm going to invite you and I want you to just like really give me a hard time. Okay. I want you to like try to throw every objection at me that you can under the sun. All right.
All right.
So, ring, ring, ring.
Yellow.
Hey, Ryan, real quick, man. It's David. What do you got going on later tonight?
Not sure right now.
Are you free?
Could be. I guess.
I'm kind of in a rush right now. I mean, are you going to be home around 6?
Yeah. I think I'll be there at 6 at the house.
All right. Well, I'm working on something huge, and I'm meeting with a bunch of people. If you can be there at 6, I'm going to come by. Can you be there? Can I count on you?
What are you working on?
Something huge, man. It's me. I'm going to show you when I get there. Okay, I'll be at 6.
Uh, 6 o'clock?
Yeah, you said you are you free or no? Dude, I got to run. I got more calls to make. You going to be there?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right, cool, man. I'll see you then. So perfect. So again, you're going to get some people that are real easy. You're going to get some people that are a little more. But here's what I want you to. Here's a word I want you to write down. It's posture. We want you to have posture because people follow strength. People don't follow weakness. And if they ask you, what is it? And you start to explain, now some people go, oh man, I feel like I'm hoodwinking people. I feel like I'm trying to put something over on them. Let me tell you what's going to happen when you get there. You're going to do something called a 3-step setup, which I wish I had time to train on right now, but we're not going to do that right now. The 3-step setup though is going to completely put everyone at ease because you're going to tell them, look, I'm working on something huge. Thanks for meeting with me. This might be for you. It might not be. We're going to be cool either way. We're going to be good buddies. I just want you to see it. Is that cool? So you just diffuse any type of bomb that could have been building up there. So posture. You want to have posture. And let me show you, let me give you an example of what happened with me, the way I got invited and why it failed miserably. Okay. So good buddy of mine, Dr. Justin Job, we went to chiropractic school together, graduated, went our separate ways. Happened to open practices within about 10 miles of each other, and we end up working out at the same gym. I haven't seen this guy in 8 years since we graduated. Bump into each other at 24-hour fitness. And so we're getting caught up. How's life treating you? How's the practice? This, that, and the other. And then here's what he does. He launches into his little 30-second World Ventures commercial. And he's like, oh, I'm doing this travel deal and it's business and they've got wholesale trips and you can make money with it. And they've got these car bonuses and home bonuses. And he vomited all over me. So we call that verbal vomiting. Now, do you like having other people's vomit on you? The answer is no. So I went on with my workout. He went on with his workout. And then we left. We exchanged numbers. And here's what happened now. He starts calling me. He starts emailing me. He starts coming by my office to give me CDs to listen to. And I knew just enough. I hadn't seen a video. I hadn't seen a presentation. All I knew in my head is I had prejudged whatever he had just told me. And so I avoided him like the plague. It took him 4 months to finally wear me down to get me to show up to his little presentation. And I showed up as a pity sign up. I was literally going to sign up just to get him off my back and then call and cancel the next day. But I sat through a presentation and I watched the whole thing. And I looked at him and I'm like, dude, this is pretty cool. You did a horrible job of explaining this to me. Why didn't you just show me this video 4 months ago? This is pretty awesome, man. I want to do this. So do you see what happened there? He tried explaining it to me as his invitation, and he gave me just enough information to prejudge what he was doing. If he had simply done the invite correctly, then I would have been in 4 months earlier. Does that make sense? And I would have had my car bonus 4 months before I got it. So I was a little mad at that guy. All right. So
it's like we're becoming the professional drop the mic. It's like we don't show anything and then all of a sudden, boom, they got all of it.
Exactly. And you hit it on the head. Everybody write this down. Don't show them anything until you can show them everything. It's just like a hand of cards, right? In poker, you don't show them until the very end. And that's when the cards hit the table, boom, now everybody knows what's going on. And again, I can't stress to you enough that we're not trying to hoodwink people. We're not trying to be dishonest here. But when we follow the system, we get results. When we don't follow the system, it crashes and burns. And then, of course, we blame the system, right? So that is inviting. That's the phone invite. Now, I'll tell you, my opinion, and I think most people who have been doing this for a while would agree, inviting by phone call is the most effective type of inviting because they can hear your voice. They can hear the intensity and the excitement in your voice. The only bad thing is if they start asking questions, if you didn't follow the 5 steps, then you fall into the trap of starting to answer questions. And as soon as you answer one question, they ask another one, and then you answer that, they ask another, and then they go, oh, I've seen those things before, I'm not interested. And they didn't even get a chance to see it, right? And now you don't feel real good about your decision to join, right? So that's the phone invite, the 5-step invite. The next type of invite is probably the next best. It's called the 2-step text. And it's 2 steps because it is 2 steps. The first step, write this down, is called big bucket. Because we know if someone gets in a big bucket, they're in the bucket. They can't climb out, right? So the big bucket sounds like this. I would shoot a text. I would say, hey, when can we grab coffee this week? Because I want to give them a big, broad invitation that they can easily step into. So they're going to text me back. I don't know. I think I get off work early on Wednesday, or I got the kids for soccer practice on Tuesday. I can't do it then. They're going to start, and then you're basically just going to negotiate back and forth when you're meeting for coffee. Step 2 is, great, see you then. That's it. Super, super simple. So again, that one's is like, it's too simple. It's just 2 steps. And here's the cool thing about text messages is, text etiquette is keep it short and sweet, right? Doesn't it annoy you when someone sends you a text message that's like 3 screens long? So most people don't ask a whole lot of questions over text. So it's easy to avoid those. The bad thing about the text invite is they can't sense the excitement in your voice. You can't convey that you're fired up about something whenever you do a text invite. So that's basically that. Now, if you've got some people who are long distance, maybe they don't live in the same town, you can't come over. The invite is going to be virtually the same, but it's going to be, when are you by a computer? So you can easily text somebody who lives in New York, when are you by a computer? And they're going to be like, well, I'm in front of a computer right now. Or I'll be in front of a computer over lunch. Now, nowadays, and again, these invites, you can tell that these were done kind of before we had unlimited data on our phones. Now, everybody can watch it on their phone. I mean, they could literally stop what they're doing and watch a 15-minute video on their phone if they've got good reception. So when do you got 15 minutes? That's your invite. It's not, when do you got 15 minutes? I got this cool travel project I'm working on. We can make a bunch of money. You see how you just showed your cards? So once they tell you when they're free, boom, I'll call you then. All right. Super simple. Let me show you. Oh man, I can't show you because my screen is not working. Hang on a second. I've got actual screenshots that I wanted to show you guys. Dang it. Okay. Well, that's not going to work. Dang it, man. I really wanted to show you those.
You
I've
can
got
send
actual
me on Messenger if you'd like, and I can post them.
All right. Let me see here. Let's see. Copy. All right, hang on, let me try. Maybe I can put them on. All right, bear with us, people. Hang on a sec. I want to show you some actual text message invites, the right way versus the wrong way. And you guys can see real quick that, oh, okay, that's what I was doing wrong. Because again, if you're following the system, then it works. If you're inviting and you're not getting the result, then it probably means that you're doing it wrong. Okay, so I just sent you one there on Messenger, Ryan. It's in the momentum thread.
All right.
See if you can bring that up. I'm going to send you another one while you're doing that. Copy. All right. And I hope this is helpful for you guys. Somebody give us a thumbs up if this is helpful. All right, there's another one.
And see, that's the great thing is if they're not watching live, they can just scoot forward a little bit until they see the image pop up.
Hey, there you go. Rock and roll. All right, so let me know if that's going live.
So tiny.
This is a screenshot from my phone. I'll give you the background. So this was a This was a young gal. She is a single mom, and she is bartending, and she wants to become a radiologist. She wants to go to radiology school. So she hates bartending. She wants to spend more time at home with her daughter. She wants to be able to do radiology, but she's just in a situation where she can't do that. So I use that, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute. I use that as the way to invite her. And we call that the I found a way invite. So let's say, for instance, you have somebody that they've got some kind of problem in their life that World Ventures could help fix. Maybe like this young lady, she's single mom with a daughter, and she's wanting to go to school, but she hates the job that she's in. So I use that as the invite. And I'll just go ahead and read it to you. I don't know if Ryan is having any luck. There it is. Okay, so the green one. Yeah. Okay, so you can see it here, right? This is what I texted her. I said, I'm working on something with a ton of the young 20s crowd, because she was in her early 20s. I said, there's a way you may be able to be a full-time stay-at-home mom and not have to do bartending. And I thought you'd be interested. Would you be interested? You can use that exact same verbiage. I thought you'd be interested. Would you be interested? Now you can see her response, yes, with 2 exclamation points. Now she also included, what does it entail? And I said, are you by a computer? And you can see there, she said yes. That was the invite. So guess what I did? I called her right then and there. I did my 3-step setup, which again, there's video trainings on how to do 3-step setup. Maybe we'll do some training on that in the next couple of days. And she saw it. She watched it. She thought it was cool. She didn't join because she didn't have the money. At that point, my job is done. You invited them, you showed them. At that point, it's not your job to close them. It's not your job to try to convince them. They saw the information. Now it's in their court. Now, here's the crazy thing. I bet that gal is probably doing the exact same thing. She's probably still struggling for money. She's probably not able to go to school. She's probably still a stay-at-home mom working a bartending job because she's turning down opportunities. But again, that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is simply invite them and show them. Okay, so let's go to the next one. It's a blue screen. That's how I could tell someone has a droid, is because it shows up in green. All my iPhone people know what I'm talking about. When an iPhoner texts a fellow iPhoner, our texts show up in blue. Green is for the droids. All right, so are you able to pull up the next one, the blue one, Ryan? Okay, so very similar here. Very, very similar. Very similar situation. I knew this gal. She was working her butt off. She hated it. So I said, I'm working on a project that might help you not have to work so much. I thought you'd be interested. Would you be interested? What did she say? Sure, I'd love to know the details. 3 exclamation points. So you see how now we're putting this in context of what's in it for them. We're trying to provide them a solution to their problem. When you frame it that way, you get fish jumping in the boat. They can't wait to show up and see what it is. So as we go on, are you working today or are you free? I'm working today. I said, no problem. We can either chat on your next visit because she had an appointment the next week, or let me know when you have some time by a computer this weekend. Super, super simple. So that's called the I found a way invite. Let me give you some other examples. Maybe you know somebody who they drive a beat up old piece of junk car. They're embarrassed of it, and they're embarrassed. They park like 3 houses down so that no one, sees them pull up in this piece of junk car. Here could be your invite. Hey, Bob, I found a way you might be able to get a nicer car, and I thought you'd be interested. Would you be interested? What is Bob going to say? Heck yeah, sign me up. What? Like, absolutely. Let's get together. Maybe you know somebody who, I don't know, they're dropping their kids off at daycare. Right? And it kills them. It breaks their heart every day when they're dropping their kids off at daycare. Use that for your invite. Hey, I found a way you might be able to get the kids out of daycare. I thought you'd be interested. Would you be interested? Again, you put it in context of what's in it for them, and you're honestly trying to help them. You're trying to shine light on their problem and give them a possible solution. And by the way, if you've been to our trainings and you've heard some of the stories and you've been around this, that what I'm saying is true, because that all these problems that we're talking about can be solved by World Ventures. I mean, you get good at this and a lot of problems in your life go away. You get good at this, you might still have problems, but money and time freedom won't be one of them. Okay, so let me give you, I'm going to send you one more. I should have done this just a second ago. Oh, hold up. Edit, undo. Okay, copy. I'm going to send you one more, and this is one that was done terribly. Hang on, let me get bring this over. There we go. All right, so paste. All right. Okay, so you should have that. Oh, did it come through? Oh, hold on. Okay. All right, so you should have one more that's coming through now, Messenger, and that'll be the last one. We'll get copied and pasted.
It should be a little bit faster. Boom.
Boom. All right. Okay, so let's just read this one. Now, this was a guy, super sharp guy, very successful real estate investor. He joined us. So you think he was one of those chicken list guys. He was on somebody's chicken list because he's a high-speed guy, done very well in real estate. You would think that somebody like that would come over here and just crush it, right? Well, he was very good at doing real estate, but that doesn't translate to this. He was really good at playing the guitar. We threw a pair of drumsticks at him. So he sucks at playing the drums. So here's what he did. Here was his invite. So this is how he was inviting everybody. Hey, just thought about this. Y'all travel. I need you to look at this travel club that Roz and I are members of called World Ventures. If you haven't heard about it, look at this video link, and there's a hyperlink there. I'll holler back at you after you've watched it. So what did he do? He just showed all his cards, right? He just gave away total control, and he basically vomited on his friend. He's trying to sell them because that's what you do in real estate. Now, look at okay, now what time did he send that text? 1:36 p.m. Look at the time that they responded. 9:24. It was almost 8 hours later before they even looked at it. So when you give away control, when you don't clear the date and you just send a link out and you hope that they watched it, by the time you follow up with them, number one, you don't know if they watched it. Number two, they've probably forgotten most of what they saw anyway. So their response was, I'm looking at the website now. How's it been working for y'all? Great. We're going to San Francisco next week, New York City in December, Orlando in January, 4- and 5-star resort hotel between when it and see. He goes into sales mode. Well, no one wants to be sold. So we can diagnose real quickly. There's a lot of things wrong with this invite. So what I did was I took this screenshot and I went over it with him. And then guess what happened? He started doing the invite correctly. He started getting good results. So very, very simple. Hopefully that sheds some light on maybe some things that you're struggling with. Let me give you a couple of last things here, and then we will finish this up. Okay, so we've all got difficult ones, right? We've always got somebody who, they want to know. And again, if you do the invite correctly, then when they start asking questions, you can always go back to step one. Man, I wish I had time right now, but I'm in a hurry. Are you free tonight or not? And you don't have to answer questions. You can just revert back to step one. If you didn't set it up properly, now you open yourself up for all these questions. And we always get that person. They're like, well, you got to tell me something. You got to explain something to me or I'm not showing up. Well, what I would typically do is, okay, cool, I got to run. If it ever got to that point. Now, if you do it correctly, it'll never get to that point. But let's just say for kicks and giggles, I was trying to invite Ryan and he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm free. I mean, I got stuff going on. Like, what is it? He actually did something perfect. He said, it's me. If it was you asking me, I'd be on my way over right now. You can write that down. That's a great little nugget. Drop a little guilt on him, right? So I'm asking Ryan, hey, you free tonight? I'm working on something. He's like, I don't know, man. What is it? Is it one of those pyramid deals? I'm like, dude, it's me. If you were asking me to come over, I'd be on my way over right now. Or if you were asking me to, you guys get it. Flip the script there.
I like that. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah. If it was you asking me, I'd be in the car right now. I'd be putting my shoes on. Like, what's up with the 20 questions? Is that what it is? 20 questions?
Yeah.
20 questions? So that's a little one-liner. If it was you asking me, I'd be putting my shoes on right now. I'd be on my way out the door. I can't believe you don't trust me. Something like that.
Yeah.
Another little one-liner that you can use is if they're giving you the 10th degree, Is that what it is? 3rd degree, 10th degree? I don't know, dude. You can ask him this. Look, man, do I have any credibility with you at all? Do I have any credibility with you at all? Now, I was doing a training in New York, right, in New Jersey, and this gal comes up to me. She was, pretty new with the team, and she's showing me her text messages because she's inviting a lot of people, and people are just grilling her with all these questions. So we kind of corrected her technique a little bit, and then I told her, okay, send, do I have any credibility with you at all? And she scheduled 6 appointments in the next 10 minutes after that, because everybody was like, okay, all right, we can grab coffee. Like, you drop a little guilt on them, and now they feel bad. They feel like they were a jerk to you. So now they owe you one, right? So if it was you asking me, I'd be on my way over. Or do I have any credibility with you at all? Now, so those should get you, again, we're talking about the minority of cases here. Again, if you're doing the invite correctly, this is not going to happen that frequently. But let's say that you get that one person that they are just they're just being a tough mother. We have something called the hard way or easy way invite. And I've only had to use this a couple of times, but we want to put this one in your back pocket just in case you ever need to whip it out. So it's called the hard way or easy way. So let's say I'm trying to invite Ryan. He's giving me a hard time. Well, if you don't tell me what it is, then I'm not showing up. Then I'll go like this. And this is only if you know someone pretty well. You can't use this on somebody that you barely know. There's got to be a pretty, you got to have some decent strength of bond with this person. I'd go like this. Look, man, we'll do this the hard way or the easy way. The easy way is you grab coffee with me. It'll take 15 minutes and you tell me no. Or the hard way is I'm going to track you down. I'm going to stalk you every day of your life. I'm going to show up at your kid's bus stop with "you should be here" signs and give them to them to bring home to you. I'm going to make your life miserable until you agree to sit down with me for 15 minutes and watch my video and then tell me no. Which would you rather do, the hard way or the easy way? So again, it's pretty rare that it's going to come to that. And if somebody's giving you that much of a problem getting together, it might not be even worth your time. But again, we just want you to have that one in your back pocket, okay? Okay, so if anybody has questions about that stuff, you can Facebook Live if you want to pop a question in there.
I'm looking at it right now. Not seeing correctly any questions. Maybe just comments.
Let me turn that down a little bit. All right, cool. All right, let's finish this up here. And again, if anybody has any questions, maybe we can answer a couple if you want to just chime in on Facebook Live there. All right, let's do a couple last things here and we'll be done. Here are some inviting don'ts, some things that you don't want to do when you're inviting. The first one we already talked about is don't verbally vomit on somebody. Again, no one likes being sold. People don't like sales. They don't like salespeople. So don't bleh all the information all over them, okay? Follow the system. Next, don't use what we call taboo words. And here's some taboo words that you never want to use, okay? You don't want to use the word business opportunity, because if you say, hey, I got this business opportunity I'm working on, now they're thinking Amway. They're thinking that you're going to try to sell them some funky juice. They don't, again, people have all kinds of weird preconceived notions. So you don't want to use the word business presentation. Number 2, you don't want to use the word meeting. You don't want to say, hey, Ryan, real quick, what do you got going on tonight? Nothing. What's up? Dude, I'm going to this meeting. I want you to come with me. Now they think it's like, whatever, like Alcoholics Anonymous or something, right? So don't use the words business, presentation, meeting. You also don't want to use the word travel, as crazy as that sounds. Because if you say, oh, I'm working on this travel project, well, now they're thinking timeshare. They're thinking, again, there's all kinds of weird stuff out there, and you don't want to give them anything to object to. So don't use the word meeting, don't use the word travel, don't use presentation, don't use business opportunity, okay? So again, you're like, what words do I use? I use the word project all the time. That's what I use. I'm working on a project, working on a huge project, super cool. You got to put your eyeballs on this. Something like that, okay? Some other don'ts. So don't vomit on people. Don't use the taboo words. Don't send out blast emails and blast Facebook invites. dear friends and family, tune into my Facebook page. I'm doing something really cool and I want you all to take a look at it. Because again, you give away total control of the invitation now. You don't know who's tuning in. You don't know when they're tuning in. Again, you give away all control. All of your invites need to be one-on-one personal invitations. And then what we do is we lather, rinse, repeat. That turns into bigger and bigger and bigger. So no blast emails. Yeah, again, and part of this we did back in the beginning, even though they told us not to as we were figuring this out. Send out this blast email that goes out to 600 email addresses. Dear friends and family, I've got an amazing new travel opportunity that you should take a look at. Watch this link and then call me. Who's calling? Nobody. You go like 0 for 600, right? But again, if you think that's the system and you get no results, then you start getting discouraged and you go, oh, those things, that didn't work. Of course it didn't work. It's not the system that we teach. Next thing you don't want to do, don't do what we call deception meetings. We do live launch events, a launch event that happens in your living room where you're inviting people, other reps are inviting people. We do live presentations like the ones you guys are doing tomorrow in Blairsville and around there where it's at a restaurant or a DTL. You don't want to say, you never want to mislead somebody and say, hey, we're having a get together and a barbecue tomorrow. Why don't you swing by? And then when they get there, you spring World Ventures on them. See, would you like to be deceived like that? Of course you wouldn't. So you can use things like, hey, I'm working on a huge project, or hey, I'm working on something big. I want you to meet some people. You can do that because you're being truthful, you're being honest, but don't say, hey, we're getting together to watch the game. And then when they come over, you're springing World Ventures. Bad idea. Next thing, don't be weird. Don't be all like, hey, I got this, travel thing and you should come take a look at it. Again, just don't be weird and don't be a beggar. Okay. People don't follow beggars. Don't try to, beg somebody to come take a look. Think about this. If, Jeff Bezos, who's the CEO and founder of Amazon, he's the richest man on planet Earth. If he called you up tomorrow or tonight and he said, hey, George, I'm working on something big. You going to be free this week? Would you interrogate? And let's say you were dumb enough to interrogate him. Well, what is it, Jeff? I mean, I need to know what this is before I come meet with you. Do you think he would lose his cool? He'd be like, I'm working on the biggest thing that you've ever seen, and it would be wise of you to come meet with me. If not, no big deal. I got more people to call. So again, when you maintain your posture and you don't become a beggar, then all of a sudden people start coming with you. So things to do. So those are some don'ts. Things to do: speak with authority. Okay, we already talked about that. Jeff Bezos, speak with authority. Donald Trump, whether you hate the guy or love the guy, doesn't matter to me. He speaks with authority, doesn't he? It's not always the wisest thing that he says, but whatever. And just have posture. Again, this is going to take time. It's going to take repetition. The more you do it, the easier it gets. The more posture, the more confidence that you have. Okay, last thing I want to train you guys on, and then we'll finish this up. I want to train you real quick on building your list. And this is something that you want to do with every new person you enroll. And why do we want to do this? Because when someone new enrolls, they have no clue what they're doing, right? I mean, they're brand new. They think it's an awesome idea, but they're literally like a baby that you just gave birth to. You wouldn't just tell that baby, okay, here's my cell phone number. Call me when you need me. No, you would take that baby, you would swaddle them, you would feed them, you would change them, you would make sure that that baby was taken care of. So you don't want to put your future in someone else's hands, the brand new, inexperienced rep. You want to take control of the situation. So here's what you want to do when you enroll a new person and you start building their list. You want to pull out a blank sheet of paper. And man, I wish I had this up on my screen, but I can't. So pull out a blank sheet of paper and you're going to divide it into quadrants, okay? One line down the middle, one line across the middle. So you got 4 quadrants: top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. The first quadrant, top left, we call this easy ones, okay? Easy ones. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to pull out your pencil. And let's say I'm making a list with Ryan. I'm going to be like, hey, Ryan, welcome to the team. Dude, this is going to be awesome. We scheduled your launch event. We're going to have, your launch event's going to be next Thursday. I didn't get into that, by the way. We'll talk about that some other time. Look, man, let's go ahead. We want to score in 24. So I want to help you to start putting down some names on paper. So Ryan, who are your easy ones? I mean, who's the person that if if you had a flat tire and your phone's about to die, who's the person that you call that would drop everything and come help you? Who is that? Give me a name. So Ryan says Joe. I'm like, cool, awesome. What if Joe doesn't answer his phone? Who else? He's like, Steve. Okay, what if Steve doesn't answer? Who else? And here's the thing, Ryan, he might give me one name. He might give me 2 or 3 or 4 names, but I'm just going to keep asking, who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Here's the thing. I want to help him build the biggest list possible as quickly as possible because, again, he doesn't know what to do. So I'm coaching him through how to do this. So this is in my handwriting, my sheet of paper. Who else? Okay, we got Joe. We got Steve. Anybody else? Aaron. Who else? Sally. And then I ask who else, and he hesitates. And he looks up, and you can tell that he's thinking and he's struggling. Now what I want to do is I want to ask him another question. Who, Ryan, if they were in that situation, if they had a flat tire, their phone is about to die, you would be the first person they call. Who is that? Give me a name. Well, it's Joe. You already wrote him down. Okay, cool. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? So this is usually going to be a pretty short list of people, by the way. We're talking 2, 3. If somebody gives you 4 or 5, that's a rock star right there. But again, we want to come up with as many people as we possibly can. You notice we didn't ask him, who do you know who likes to travel? Who do you know who's open to business opportunities? We don't give a rip about that. We want to know, who do you have credibility with? That's the people that we want to show, because we know that if Ryan is fired up about this and he gets a hold of Joe and Joe is his flat tire guy, Joe's coming with. I mean, Joe's going to be like, well, Ryan's doing this. It's only $150. I mean, I guess I'm coming, even if he doesn't understand what it is. So that's the first quadrant, is what we call the easy ones, or the 4 flat tires. The next quadrant, the top right, I want you to write down fun. This is the fun quadrant. So, okay, Ryan, who are the most fun people that you know? Hey, look at that. Bada bing, bada boom. Solid. So I love this, man. So the top right one, who are the fun people you know? And they start giving you names. Okay, we got Jessica. Okay, who else? We got, again, we got George. Who else? We've got, Steven. Who else? And he's going to start struggling. Then I want to start asking him some questions. Cool, man. Who do you know who's the life of the party? Who do you know who's the first one on the dance floor at the wedding reception? We've all got that one crazy friend. Who is that? Who do you know who likes to karaoke? Who is the party planner? Who's the socialite who's always getting people together? Who's that person? Who's that person? Who's that person? You want to write down as many of these names as you can. Guys, I'm super serious right now. If you're typing up there, who do you know who wears animal print clothing? It's a real thing. I'm just telling you, people who wear animal print clothing, they join. It's like they all join. I mean, if you wear animal print clothing, let's be honest. I mean, if you wear cheetah print shoes, you are a crazy fun person. It's just all there is to it. Animal print clothing. You will get people, and they'll always laugh when you ask them that question. But then they'll give you a couple names. They'll be like, oh, well, yeah, Terry, she's got an animal print purse right now. I see her sitting over there. Right? So those are your fun ones. Now, when they really start to struggle, then we move to the next quadrant, the bottom left. And this one is called driven. Who are your driven friends? Who are your people who are super focused, your go-getters? So Ryan would give me a couple names. Okay, we got we got Greg. Okay, awesome. Who else? We got Amy. Okay, who else? Now he's going to start to struggle, right? So I'm going to ask him some questions. Cool, man. Who do you know who played sports at a very high level? Like, they weren't a bench warmer. They've got like trophies. They got a whole room full of trophies. They were the captain. They were the co-captain. They went and they got a scholarship because they were so good. Who do you know like that? Because they weren't thinking along those lines, right? But then when you ask them, who do you know who played sports? And now they're going, oh man, I got Reggie, I got, Josh, I got all these. And so their mind, again, what we're looking for here, we're looking for people with a focus driven mindset. And we want athletes because we know athletes, they understand that it takes time to get good at something. Athletes understand that it takes sacrifice and repetition to get good at something. You get a couple star athletes who can buy in on this idea, boom, things get good. So who do you know is an athlete? Who do you know who already owns their own business? Give them some examples. Who do you know is a real estate agent? Who do you know who already owns, whatever, their own restaurant, who owns their own, who's already had success in life. Because again, some of these people are going to join, some of them aren't, but we want to show those types of people. You get some movers and shakers on the left and some movers and shakers on the right, all of a sudden, cycle, baby. Who do you know who served in the military? Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard. Again, generally people who are in the armed services are very driven. They're very focused. So we want to give them some of those ideas on who we can put on that list. So at this point, we should be 10, 15, 20 names. Then we move to the last quadrant, which is called dissatisfied. Dissatisfied. Now, I don't mean negative, because we don't want negative people, but who do you know they are good people, but they are simply sick and tired of being sick and tired? And you can ask it just like that. Who do you know who's sick and tired of being sick and tired? And I'm telling you guys, there are so many people out there who are good people that they got good at the wrong thing. They're working some crap job that's a dead end and they know it. Ask them questions like this. Who do you know who's been laid off recently? Who do you know who's working 2 jobs? Who do you know who's been passed over for a promotion? Who do you know? And again, it doesn't have to be just business stuff. It can be, who do you know who's embarrassed of the car that they drive? Who do you know who's got kids in daycare and they hate it? Their kids are sick all the time and they want to homeschool, but they don't have the option because they're working some job that they hate. See, what we're looking for is people who are dissatisfied with where they're at. And let me give you a couple examples. My good buddy, Dr. Peach, that we talk about in the presentation, he was a very, very successful chiropractor. He had one of the largest practices in the country. He was seeing over 1,000 patients a week, which is, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Oh my gosh. But he was kicking it. Okay. He would be on everyone's chicken list. Everybody would look at him and go, yeah, he doesn't need this. I mean, he's busy. He's a professional. He's a doctor. He's making money. I mean, I'm not even going to show him. But the thing is, he was dissatisfied. He was so tired of living that life that looked all awesome on the outside, but on the inside, he was dying. Like literally his soul was like being snuffed out every day, having to show up at this office. That, guess what? He saw this and he said, game on, baby. And so he brought that skill set, became coachable over here, and has gone to become a double IMD. What if somebody didn't show him because they thought he was too successful? See, he was dissatisfied. Then let's look on the other end of the spectrum. You got somebody like Jay Peso. Jay Peso was delivering packages for FedEx. He was a FedEx delivery guy in Brooklyn. Talk about a crappy job during the winter. So he wasn't, all Mr. Successful, but someone showed him he was incredibly dissatisfied with what he was doing. He hated delivering packages for FedEx. He just hadn't found the right vehicle, super dissatisfied with where he was at. Guess what? Somebody plops World Ventures in his lap. Boom, the guy's an IMD now. So who do you know who's dissatisfied? And you could probably fill up 3 pages with dissatisfied people. So here's the thing. This is like your starter kit for your new rep. You've got their names in your handwriting. I would take a picture of this and I would send it to them, because here's what will happen with some people. They might invite 1 or 2 or 3 people. Maybe they do it right. Maybe they do it wrong. Maybe they get shot down a few times. And then, a week later, you get this phone call. Oh man, I just don't know if this is right for me. And nobody wants to show up and see it. I've already shown everybody I know. And you're like, oh, really? Okay. So you showed Steve, you showed Joe, you showed Bob, you showed Sally, you showed and you start naming all these names and they're like, oh, well, no, I mean, and you're like, well, dude, let's get together and go show these people. I mean, you said that you wanted these people to see it. Let's do it. So you can always use their list to re-engage them in the process. Does that make sense? Okay, so here's the magic formula and then we're done. Your goal is to come up with at least 20 names here. And you should be able to do that with most people. Some people might give you 50 names. Some people might give you 7. Okay, your goal is to try to squeeze as many names out as you can. The bigger the names list, the bigger the paycheck is going to be. Here's the formula. If you can come up with 20 names on their list, and then you just set the expectation, look, we're going to spend the next week and we're going to do our best to get a hold of all 20 of these people and show them what we're doing. Out of those 20, you're going to actually be able to hook up with about 15 of them. I mean, 5 of them, they're not going to be available to meet with you. They're not going to be available for a webinar. They're just impossible to get a hold of. Out of those 15, you should get around 6. Some people might only get 2. Some people might get 16. But on average, you're going to get around 6. Why is that important? 6 is the magic number, right? 2-star rep. You've made $320. Your monthly dues are waived. And that's the building block for our whole system of success here. So guys, I went 16 minutes over. What I want to do on a regular basis, as often as you guys need, I want to get on here and do some skills training like this, because here's the thing we know. We know the system works. We know that we got good people who join and they want to win, but they just haven't quite engaged in the system yet. And if they don't do it correctly, then it's not going to go well. Does that make sense? So guys, again, I'm standing firm on Globalpreneurs. We're going to create 10,000 new residual income earners over the next 10 years. And I believe that with every fiber of my being. If you see what's going on with this company right now, we're opening the Philippines tomorrow. I mean, that's country number 40 or 41, something crazy like that. Just think back whenever this thing got started and we were in the United States only, and Wayne Nugent was going, someday we're going to be doing events in Zambia, Africa. Someday we're going to be, adding thousands of new customers in Hong Kong and Germany. And guess what's happening? It's happening right now. You guys are in the right place at the right time. You could not be working with a better team, guys. I am fired up for you guys. And whatever we can do to help you, let's make it happen. See you on the beaches. And let's go build some teams. All right. Take care.
Yeah.